From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN Noon News.
Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us on the Noon News. I'm Diane Parker. Miller has our Monday forecast. Plus, one man is on a mission to fix up problem properties in Montana's largest city. But first, our top story. In Butte, too many inmates, not enough staff to watch them. MTN's John Amy reports on the problem at the jail.
The Butte Detention Center has two major problems: too many inmates and not enough officers to oversee them. And this is a situation that could escalate into problems.
There's always that concern that there's contraband. There's also concern when it gets overcrowded that there's inmate on inmate violence. And so we've had, some fist fights and those kind of things, nothing major, but the potential always exists.
The jail currently has 19 detention officers, down from a full staff of 28. The jail, which was designed to hold 72 inmates, had 106 inmates in the facility as of February 17th. They're currently training 3 new detention officers, but it could take up to 6 months before they're ready.
It's not like you can just hire somebody and the next day plug them in as a detention officer. You don't want to risk their safety or the safety of other officers or compromise the facility, so you have to make sure that everybody's trained properly.
It's not always easy retaining new recruits.
And we've had some bad luck. We've hired some people that just were not good fits for detention. They went to work at the detention center, and they, within a week or two, they realized that was not something that they were able to do.
Butte Silverbow is seeking applicants for new detention officers at its website.
It's not an easy job, but it's a rewarding job, and it's a good job for people who are interested in getting their foot in the door as far as law enforcement overall.
In Butte, John Amy, MTN News.
Imagine you're a police officer sitting in your car trying to radio for help and not being able to. That was the situation for some Lewistown police officers last year, and now they're getting more money to help fix the problem.
Communication is key, especially for police officers. There have been several instances in recent memory where Lewistown police officers were left without any way to communicate to dispatch or their other officers.
So if we key up our radios, that bonking noise, that's the service not going through. It's not transmitting.
Justin Jennis has been Lewistown's police chief for 4 years now and has seen firsthand just how desperately their department has needed this equipment.
The last homicide we had last summer, our officers arrived on scene. They could not talk to dispatch or each other while trying to find a murder suspect that had fled the scene. That was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back and really highlighted the need for us to upgrade our technology.
Lewistown City Commissioners have approved more than $1 million to be used for getting new equipment, such as a 911 recording system, a new 800 megahertz radio tower, and corresponding radios.
Our current radios we use now, a lot of those radios are 20 plus years old. The needs of our community are definitely growing, just like everywhere else in Montana. We definitely notice an uptick in our calls for service and the amount of resources we have to, deploy on a regular basis. It's been a long process, but we're getting to where we need to be.
They've already gotten the equipment for the 911 recording system and expect the radios and the tower to be ready and installed within the next year. For the officers that will be using this equipment daily, it's a sigh of relief knowing they'll have an effective way to communicate when needed.
We had a call for an open door burglary alarm. My partner was 15 feet away from me around the corner. It was at night. The winds were blowing. We had snow coming in, and I'm sitting there trying to radio him. And when I can't get a hold of him, and he's right around the corner, it's a little stressful. But it can be a little hectic and unnerving when you're on scene and you're trying to get that information out and you can't. Radios are essential. That's how we communicate with our dispatch. That's how they relay information to us. It becomes a safety issue when we can't effectively communicate.
In Lewistown, Asher Lind, MTN News.
The latest on the Montana Highway Patrol trooper who was seriously injured Thursday near Eureka, just north of Kalispell. Trooper Lewis Johnson was struck by a suspect's truck while trying to apprehend a suspect who led troopers on a chase. MHP says Johnson remains at Logan Health in Kalispell in serious but stable condition. A federal jury convicted a man from Basin Friday for firing at a lesbian woman in March of 2020. 46-year-old John Russell Howell was found guilty of hate crime acts and for discharging a firearm. According to court records, Howell was looking to get rid of the gay and lesbian community in Basin and was armed with 3 rifles and 2 pistols. He shot at the woman's home several times and also pointed a rifle at a Jefferson County Sheriff's deputy responding to the scene. The man faces life in prison and a $250,000 fine for the hate crime conviction. Sentencing is June 15th. The spy balloon seen over Billings is back in the national headlines. Secretary of State Antony Blinken met with China's top diplomat at a security conference in Germany over the weekend. Blinken stressed the importance of a direct line of communication between the U.S. and China after the downing of the balloon off South Carolina's coast. And that's a look at some of the day's top stories.
Storm Tracker weather starts now with meteorologist Miller Robson.
I trust everybody had a wonderful weekend. Happy Monday and happy President's Day, everybody. As we take a look at the temperatures and conditions for the 48s, the continental U.S. Billings up to 37 today with snow. Snow in Minneapolis also tag teaming at 37 today. The windy city of Chicago, a mix of sun and clouds getting up to about 48. Down in Atlanta, a warm day today with highs in the mid-70s, a mix of sun and clouds. Up in Boston, getting up to about 57 with cloudy skies. Seattle with some rain, 47. Down in Los Angeles, lots of sunshine with a high getting up to about 66. Weather headlines for the 48s. Much of the west, northern, and central plains, upper Midwest were included in this. Winter storm will bring heavy snow and strong winds through the middle of the week. Great Lakes interior northeast, Clipper system to bring light to moderate snow in central and eastern portions of the U.S. Above normal temperatures to start the week. For us, we've got a winter system impacting the region, and we've got, you don't see it there, it's covered up, but cold Arctic air heading our way. We'll take a look at the main forecast coming up.
You may be surprised, but Bozeman police are just now being equipped with body cameras. MTN's Edgar Cidio reports.
I mean, you know, they say a picture's worth 1,000 words, and sometimes it's easier if you can just watch what happened instead of having somebody tell you.
Chris Watson is a lawyer that practices law in Bozeman. He and many other residents were actually surprised to find out that Bozeman police recently deployed their network of body cameras.
Yeah, honestly, I thought they already had them. I can't imagine why they didn't already.
The department equipped their staff at the end of 2022 with state-of-the-art body-worn cameras.
Across all the officers, our detectives, animal control, some of our civilian staff as well. And so far, so good.
The cameras are also in addition to the video that's already recorded off patrol cars. Patrol Captain Swanson says this adds a new layer of video.
Overall, the system's working as we've intended to. The officers have always had recording devices on themselves, not necessarily a body camera, so that part's new to us.
Swanson explains that using technology at the new Public Safety Center, the video begins uploading to the cloud as soon as the officer parks their car.
Trying to increase the efficiency of the officers, whereas before we had kind of multiple systems that we had to essentially put in our case management system.
Swanson says that the video that is now being recorded will also start appearing in court cases, which one resident says that the video is important if they're ever involved in a crime.
I mean, some people may forget things because they're in a state of shock sometimes, or it's hard to recall when you're in a situation where something dramatic has happened.
Those that I talked to are now just glad to know that the department has body-worn cameras in use.
Yeah, how did we even get this far along without them? I mean, every other department's had them for a decade.